Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's always beautiful to have you here. Today we are going to be discussing the use of what we call the Vitek 2 system. Now, the Vitek 2 system is an automated system for identification of microorganisms. Now, usually when we want to identify microorganisms, we do so by culturing them in the laboratory. So we simply have a sample. It can be a food sample, water sample, urine sample, fecal sample, whatever sample it is. Then we take out of that sample and we inoculate onto culture media. And after inoculating onto culture media, we then use that for after inoculating into culture media, then we incubate for a couple of hours, about 12 to 24 hours, and then we see microbial growth. Now, when we have this microbial growth, the problem we now have is how to identify these microorganisms. Many a times we have to go through a series of biochemical reactions. We've been discussing these reactions: Indo test, catalyst test, citrate test, methyl red test. These are all different tests that we could employ in our quest to try to identify microorganisms. But then there is also an automated system which uses a Vitek machine. Now, this Vitek machine, it carries ID cards, and what you need to do is you have your media, and the media is usually in the form of a broth, and then you culture your microorganisms in this media, and then you culture them using zero point 0.5, what we call a standard. We call it 0.5 McFarland standard. It's a standard for turbidity. It's a way to use to measure your microorganisms to make sure that you are taking the right quantity, the right amount of microorganisms. Now, you take these microorganisms and then put it into different wells which are present on the ID cards. The idea is that these different wells carry different biochemical agents, carrying different chemicals, so that the machine is able to help you to identify these microorganisms by itself. So you have these wells, you feed your sample microorganism which you are interested in testing, feed it into these wells, and then you put it into the machine and run the machine for about 16 to 18 hours, and the machine then gives you the identity of this organism. The Vitek 2 machine, is important because it's able to give you the identity of gram-positive bacteria, also the identity of gram-negative bacteria. It's even able to give you the identity of some fungi and some yeast, making it a very valuable machine for use in the laboratory. It's useful for research, it's useful for clinical diagnosis, it's useful for field work, it's useful for a lot of things, and we get to use it. Now, it's important to know that this Vitek 2 machine, serves two functions majorly. It helps for microbial identification. It can also help to run antibiotic sensitivity tests, ASTs. Now, it's important to note that the machine also has an AST card. The way it has an ID card, that which is for identification, it has an AST card, and the AST card is for antimicrobial susceptibility or sensitivity test. And so you also put in your organism of interest into this card and then fit it into the machine, and it will generate a result for you. After about 16 to 18 hours of working, it generates a result for you. And in that result, you see RIS. So you see resistance, you see intermediate, and you see sensitive. So the idea is you can now look at a group of antibiotics, and the results will tell you the antibiotic that is effective against this your organism of interest, and the antibiotic that will not work against this your organism of interest. So the Vitek 2 machine is an important machine. It is well known and it's been well used for many years in the laboratory. It's important that we get to know how to use it. We get to know the things to do with it, and it has a lot of advantages. The advantages that it has includes accuracy. It's quite accurate in its identification of organisms. It is fast. It has speed. It has accuracy. Sorry. It has a specificity. It also has traceability, and then it has a broad coverage. So it's able to identify quite a broad and large amount of microorganisms. This is an important part of this machine. So thank you for listening to this. I hope you understood what we are saying. We just discussed a little bit on the Vitek 2 machine. Thank you for listening and do have a wonderful day.